Welcome into the Pawsitivily Petland Show, AM800 KXIC. We're talking pets. It's sunny. It's a beautiful October day. Great day to take your dog for a walk. And I'm super excited today because we're getting to a breed of the week that I don't know if we've ever done it. And it's the dog that I had that I love so much. My cousin now has this dog. We had to move partially because of this position, and we weren't allowed to have a dog at the time, so it was very sad when we had to get rid of Slater. But he's in good hands with my cousin, and it's the Weimaraner, the breed of the week. Very excited about that. Great dog. If you own a Weim, you want to get some free treats for that Weim, stay tuned. Ron Salzard here from Petland of Iowa City. What's up, Ron?
Life is beautiful.
It is. Great day to take a Weim for a walk, huh?
It's a great Weim day.
It is. It's beautiful. Sunshine, 45 right now, and we're getting up to the mid-60s. That's all you can ask for in mid-October. It's great. So we have a nice stretch here, sunshine over the weekend. We have Hawkeye football here on KXIC. The Hawks are off to a good start. They're 5-1. They're on the road at Maryland. We've got that game for you right here on your local news and sports leader. And we want you to tune into the Bumper Brigade, brought to you by Concept by Iowa Hearing Aid Centers at 8 with kickoff at 11. Then they're off again, which is kind of strange. A weird schedule, only 2 games in the whole month of October. Then next month there's 5 games, and they'll be back home against Northwestern on November 1st. So that's the Hawkeye football team, an update there on their schedule. Now, right now, it's time to talk pets, and I told you the Weimaraners, the breed of the week. We're going to have the amazing pet story of the week, a parrot, is it a parrot?
It would be in the parrot family, yeah.
An African gray that, very strange story, went missing for a long time, came back speaking a different language. So very fun story there for the amazing pet story of the week. Besides that, what else are we going to talk about, Ron?
We're going to talk about anxious dogs and just simple ways. Let's go back to the basics. I mean, we come up with all these crazy medication, this, that, and all the other things. Let's talk about anxious dogs and what you just can do, the basic things to handle an anxious dog, all the steps you can take to do that in a nice, natural way.
I'll put the call out again. I did this late last week, and it'd be fun to get some stories today, just some funny pet stories, just to hear from you listeners a little bit this morning on anything that's been fun. I told a story about the frozen pizza and my dad, who the dog ate his frozen pizza, and it went, he had that sheepish look on his face. But I know there's got to be some funny stories out there. So if you have a funny story to share about pets, let us know at 319-354-0800. And all of you, any of you Weim owners, I know I see a few of them around town. I think it's just like when you buy a car, you notice, right? Yeah. You notice more when, that's the same model I have, or you notice that it's the same thing. I think with dogs. Every time I see a Weim, I pay extra attention, and just beautiful gray dogs. They all have this really cool look. And one thing I noticed about our Weim is the different sunlight had different color. Like sometimes they look brown, sometimes gray, sometimes like a bluish hint to it. So the Weimaraner, if you own a Weim, call us up. We'll give you a free bag of food and a free bag of treats for that Weim. 319-354-0800. 319-354-0800. If you know of a Weimaraner owner, get them the message. You could text them or call them. Say, hey, call them to the radio station. Get your free bag of treats and free bag of dog food. And all we ask you is to tell us a little bit about your dog. Just give us the name of your dog and then tell us a little bit about your dog, and you'll get set up with a free bag of treats and a free bag of dog food courtesy of Nutro, just for calling the program. So Weimaraner is the breed of the week. 319-354-0800. 319-354-0800. That's the phone number to call if you have a Weim. And also, if you just have any kind of question, anything about pets, that's the time to talk about it right now, Thursdays in this 8 o'clock hour here on KXIC. It's the Pawsitively Petland Show. 319-354-0800. You could also email the program, news@kxic.com. That's the word news@kxic.com. And you can get a hold of us by posting on Facebook. There's a lot of different ways if you want to contribute. We'd love to hear from you this morning. It's great when we get the caller and listener interaction, and it helps steer the show a bit. So just feel free if you want to talk about anything related to pets, 319-354-0800. So we'll go back to the basics. We'll do all the things Ron talked about there. Too bad we don't have a Weim puppy here. I think that would be hell's bells for me as far as finally caving in if there was a puppy, Weimaraner puppy. You did have one, and we'll get to that in a minute. But let's go to the phone lines first. We'll go to the phone lines. Good morning. Who's this?
Yeah. Hey, I'm calling. I heard you're on the radio. I've got a wine.
Oh, cool. Sitting right beside.
High five, and we've been traveling across the country for the last 2 months, and I can't get the dog food or the treats, so you can get them set aside and give it to a shelter somewhere.
Okay.
Sounds good. We'll make it happen.
We will do that. I'm kind of curious. So your dog's name is High Five? Is that what you said?
His name is High Five. H-I and the number 5.
How'd you get that name?
It almost sounds like part of his registered name.
Okay.
His registered name is Baron Sparks, IIFID.
Okay. So it comes from that. So you and High Five have been traveling across the country for 2 months. I want to hear a little bit more about this. What was your name again?
My name is Jack.
Jack. And where are you from? Are you?
I'm from California.
Okay.
We took off the beginning of September and traveled through Nevada, Colorado, Utah, into the southern states, visited a lot of Civil War sites, and went up the East Coast of Montreal, and now I'm heading back towards California.
Cool. So it's just you two hanging out then, huh?
Yeah.
That's great. And great dogs, right? I can give firsthand experience. Very loyal. And is your dog like to run around a lot?
Oh, he loves to run, and I run him off my bicycle as much as I can. Plus, he loves to hunt. They're great hunting dogs. Both his mother and father were AKC master hunters.
Really? Yeah, that's I noticed my Weim had a special. Whenever he saw a squirrel, he just about went crazy. There's something inside him that wanted to go get him. So very cool. Well, thanks for calling, Jack. I appreciate it, and we'll get that food to the shelter then. Okay.
Great.
All right. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Proof once again, you never know who's listening. And I love that about this job. 319-354-0800, 319-354-0800. We caught a guy on, I'm guessing probably I-80, listening in and heard the bat signal out for Weimaraner owners. So that's pretty cool. Jack and High Five are just cruising around the country, running around, and he's got his buddy with him, and they're heading back to California. I like it. Very good. Thank you. Appreciate that, Jack. 319-354-0800. Any other Weimaraner owners out there? We'll get you that free bag of treats and a free bag of dog food. It's courtesy of Nutro. 319-354-0800. That's the phone number to call if you do have a Weim, or if you just have a question or a funny story about pets. That's Thursday mornings in the 8 o'clock hour right here on KXIC. It's time to get Big Voice Guy out. What's he wearing today, Ron?
He's looking like the Weimaraner. He's like going for that psychedelic look of the color change and everything. That is so crazy. He comes up with these things.
He knows that we're talking about him all the time now.
He's married.
The amazing pet story of the week.
That's a big ring on him.
Great. Congratulations, Big Voice Guy. We appreciate that. You always come bring it home with all the big bass in your voice. The amazing pet story of the week.
I'd like that big bass voice lady.
Yes, we need to meet her one day.
He already ran out.
He's got to tend to her, I guess.
Yeah.
Something's going on there. All right, so that's the Big Voice Guy, amazing pet story of the week. We do this every single week. We have the amazing story. This one's a fun one. It was one that I heard earlier in the week, forgot about, but then Ron reminded me about it, so I thought this would be good. A missing African gray parrot returns home after a 4-year absence, and Nigel, who was an English-speaking African parrot, actually from the UK. His owner was from the UK, so you'd imagine that the parrot was like, had an English accent, right?
He did, yeah.
He had an English accent when he left, and so Nigel had an English accent. He's like, Polly want a cracker. He's, he's speaking with an English accent. I'm
waiting for this one.
And then now all of a sudden he comes back, ¿Qué pasa, man? He's speaking Spanish. That's right. So he started off with the English accent, disappeared for 4 years, and now he's speaking Spanish. A veterinarian in California discovered that the bird had a microchip embedded in its skin, so set out to find the owner. The microchip was never registered, but they were able to trace sales records back to a California pet store, and they were able to learn about Nigel's address, and they found that they got Nigel back reunited, and now the parrot that once spoke English, it's bilingual. It can speak Spanish and English.
I like it.
How cool is that? Funny story there. African gray parrot, some of the animal kingdom's most intelligent species, and that they've reunited the owner along with the African gray. They live a long time too, don't they?
Yes, you're into the potentially into the 70, 80 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about a commitment.
Yes,
when you buy one of those,
yeah.
You don't want to think.
Usually anybody that buys them, the bird's going to outlive them. I had a child in the store, and we had an African gray. Oh, I think it was one of the macaws, which will live over 100 years. And
over 100 years?
Yeah. And the child laughed at his mom. That macaw's going to outlive you. And I looked at the child and I go, the macaw's going to outlive you.
You're right, too. Well, lots of amazing medical technology in the next 100 years.
Which is actually quite possible. There's a lot of advancements going
on. Who knows? People will be living 200 years. But then I guess we could make the macaws live longer, too, with some help, right?
Right.
Hook them up to...
But one thing I want to point out is the microchip. It mentioned the microchip in there. We've seen this in our store multiple times. The most best story that we had come out of our store was a beagle that went home. And again, the microchip, it was all registered and traced and all that kind of stuff. The beagle ran away, and whoever got the beagle did not, bring it into the shelter, have it scanned and all that kind of stuff. So that person didn't discover who the real owner was. Well, the beagle must have ran away again 5 years later in this case. And we got the call from North Liberty and said, hey, we found this dog in our town. We've traced the chip back to your store. Can you help us out? And we said, sure. We went out there, grabbed it, then did some research to find out who the owner was, called the owner, and her life had changed so much. She goes, oh, my beagle, I can't believe it. The beagle ran away from me. And she goes, I don't know what to do. She goes, my life has changed so much. She had gotten married. She had a child. They, own a house. They all these things. And she goes, can I just talk with my husband real quick? I said, either way, we'll find a home for him, or if you take him. Well, she called back I think 3 minutes later. Oh my gosh, we want him so badly, And so they came over and picked him up. It was such a heartwarming story, and it's just a advice to use to make sure that you get your dog back. So
that's a good reminder about that microchip. And not only do you need to get the chip if you're going to get a dog or a cat or whatnot, but you want to make sure you register it, right? Because it's not really useful if you don't get it registered.
Right. In this African gray story, you can hear how it was not registered, and they had to do a lot of work in order to find that customer. And not always will that happen. Also remember, microchipping, I'll always know. I just go to the animal shelter and I pick my dog back up. Realize that the shelters around us, Washington, Tipton, all of them that are, 45 minutes away, most of the dogs that end up in those shelters are from Iowa City and Coralville. So, and you wouldn't think of calling them if you lost your dog. You'd call, our local one here in Iowa City, and that would be it. You wouldn't call Tipton. Now, if you didn't have a microchipped, and the tags always seem to get lost along that run, so they just get a dog and they don't know who it is. If it's microchip, they're going to scan it. All of them have scanners. They scan that chip. They look up on the national database and they give you a call. It is that easy. So next time you're in the veterinarian, go make sure have it implanted. Also, it's very simple. It's like it's a shot equivalent. That's as bad as it gets. And then register it. The chip itself is fairly cheap, $25 or so. It's the registration that costs a little bit more, and it can go from everything from $125 to over $400. And that is why this whole story is why at Petland all of our dogs are microchipped and registered before that customer even walks out the door. We feel so passionate about it. For the protection of that pet, for that family. And also, if everybody did that, the animal shelters would be virtually free, because when they come in, they scan them, they call you, and you pick them up. I mean, it's that easy.
It's a horrible feeling to lose a pet, for sure. I know a lot of people who have, been there. I've been there. You get that feeling of not knowing if you'll ever get the dog back. But these chips have really helped out. One of the things that, if anyone's opposed to them, thinking you might be injuring the dog, you mentioned it, and I know I can vouch for our 2 cats that we got. They didn't even know what was happening. They held them, went under the skin, and they didn't even react.
Right. So, if you're opposed to a shot, then I guess you're opposed to this. It's that simple, and it's not a big deal at all. Also remember, cats and dogs have 1/10 of the nerve endings that we do. So as pain goes, well, they've got less than we do.
And I've, if you see dogs, go back to in the wild, you see wolves and whatnot. You see the mom picking up the baby by the neck, in the neck, in that skin there, and
that's exactly where they put the chip.
That's kind of what it goes into that skin, and there's just not that feeling that it hurts them.
Right. It's called sub-Q. Their skin is different from ours. Our skin is attached to our, and I don't know the medical stuff here, but our skin is attached to whatever. For theirs, it's loose, and you know that because when you grab a dog, it's just kind of moving around all over the place.
Especially certain breeds, too.
And so the microchip just goes right in between those 2 layers right there.
Well, I'm going to tell you a story about my Weimaraner when we get back. Slater, my former Weimaraner, 319-354-0800. If you have a Weimaraner, call and get your free bag of treats, just like Jack did when a free bag of food. He's donating his to the shelter. You can do the same, or take a free bag for yourself if you'd like. 319-354-0800. We're looking for Weimaraner owners. We're also going to talk about anxious dogs and how to go back to the basics and learn. Ron will teach you a little bit about how to take care of those anxious dogs. So we'll have that coming up in a little bit as well. The second half of the program coming up, 319-354-0800. I'm Jay Capron. We have Ron Salzford here, owner of Petland of Iowa City, here in Iowa City. The Weimaraner, the breed of the week. Back with more after this on KXIC. Good morning.
AM800 KXIC on the air from the Concept by Iowa Hearing Aid Center's digital studios.
No issues in our weather today. Lots of sunshine on the way, just some high thin clouds moving overhead. Mild high temperatures in the middle to upper 60s. South winds around 5 to 15 miles per hour.
Now a check on the roads from the Castle Motors Auto Body Time Saver Total Traffic Center.
New this morning in Marion for eastbound traffic on 7th Avenue. One eastbound lane is closed as they prepare for paving. So if you're headed east through Marion, expect delays. In Cedar Rapids, 5th Street between 3rd and 4th Avenue is closed for sewer repair. And 965 in North Liberty is partially open now after being closed for quite a bit of time. Still a lot of construction in the area, but you can't get through. If you see a type of snow and belts on a Iowa Hearing Aid Center traffic, tip line number 319-395-0545.
Foster Appliance is a proud sponsor of the Jay Capron Morning Show. They carry Whirlpool, Amana, Maytag, KitchenAid, and more. Plus, they offer dryer vent cleaning. Visit foster-appliance.com or call 338-5489.
With the graduation of last year's leading scorer and now NBA guard Devin Marble, there's been a lot of focus on the backcourt for the Hawkeye men's basketball team for the upcoming season. But don't be surprised if some of that slack is pulled in by senior center Gabe Olashaney. I'm Brett Balbinot with this Thursday edition of Inside Iowa. We'll talk to the big man from London, England, next.
Parents, did you know that you're a big influence on your kids' driving habits? October 19th through 25th is Teen Driver Safety Week. Remind your teenager that driving is a privilege they'll lose if they don't drive by your rules. It's not just good parenting, it's a matter of life and death. Talk with your teen about having only one passenger in the car at a time, the dangers of texting and driving, and the importance of being home by curfew. And of course, always buckle up. This
We are around the water cooler right now, and the worldwide water cooler these days is YouTube, check this out. There's the ultimate dog tease video. It's right now got 15.5 million views and counting.
You know that bacon that's like maple? It's got maple flavor.
The maple kind, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I took that out and I thought,
Yeah.
I know who would like that. Me. So I ate it.
Oh, no. You're kidding me.
But I went back to the fridge just a few minutes ago and I put something together really special. You're going to love this one. I took some chicken.
Yeah.
I put some cheese on it and I covered it with
what?
I covered it with cat treats.
Yeah.
Then guess what?
What?
I gave it to the cat.
As many times as you say that, you still.
Arena. I'm Brett Balbinot for Inside Iowa.
Good morning, I'm Andy Peterson, AM800 KXIC. Iowa City Police arresting a woman they say intentionally ripped out her IV and splattered blood on her nurse's face after being denied more medication. 57-year-old Rose Sutton faces a serious misdemeanor count of assault after she was being treated at the UI hospitals and clinics. The company that runs one of Cedar Rapids' largest manufacturing plants is being sold. Illinois-based Ingredient Incorporated entering into a definitive agreement to acquire Penford, including the Cedar Rapids facility. Acquisition has been approved by the boards of directors of both companies, still subject to approval by Penford shareholders and regulators, as well as other customary closing conditions. Mayor Ron Corbett says he hopes to meet with the new owners soon.
We'll reach out to the new owners and we'll tell them about the great things happening in Cedar Rapids and how important Penford has been as a legacy company in Cedar Rapids.
The sale could close as early as the end of the year. Officials releasing the architectural renderings for a $1.95 million renovation of Green Square Park. The name would be simply Green Square, and it would be divided into 4 quadrants with a walkway connecting the Museum of Art to the library. The square will also incorporate a water feature in the square's center and have a place for a holiday tree.
Our goal is to put the documents out on the street later this winter for bidding and have construction start this spring.
Park Superintendent Daniel Gibbons says the park currently has about 8 picnic tables. The new plan would add 100 additional seats in a way that would not take up a lot of the square's green area. News partner Channel 9 reports new lighting in the park would allow it to be used in the evening and in all seasons. Sioux City's automated traffic camera ordinance under the microscope by the justices of the Supreme Court on location at Buena Vista University last night. Justice David Wiggins seemed to agree with challenger Michael Jacoms's argument that cameras are unconstitutional because they don't require the city to prove who was driving the vehicle, and they're vague in grounds for appeal.
Don't you think due process requires the city to give notice of what they have to do and what presumptions are there and what presumptions are rebuttable? I mean, isn't that what the essence of due process, to be given notice from the ordinance of what you do and what you don't do?
Well, I agree that the defendant needs to be given notice.
Assistant Sioux City Attorney Justin Vondrich arguing that instructions on the back of the ticket sent to Jacomska told him he could nominate someone who was driving other than him, but Jacomska did admit there's nothing in Sioux City's ordinance which allows that as a defense against the citation. And the director of the National Weather Service says he's going to visit the Iowa Flood Center to learn more about its researchers and how they're predicting and helping respond to flooding. Louis Ussini saying that Iowa Flood Center at the University of Iowa is a, quote, tremendous asset that is helping fill gaps in the ability to predict impacts of floods on local communities. I'm Andy Peterson reporting.
The Royals are headed to the World Series for the first time in 29 years. I'm KCRG TV9 Scott Sable. The Royals, with some help from a 2-run throwing error, swept the O's with a 2-1 win in Game 4. The Royals become the first team in Major League history to open the postseason with 8 straight wins. Over in the National League, the Giants beat the Cards 6-4 last night to take a 3-1 series lead. Cornell will induct 3 new members into its Hall of Fame this Saturday, including Jim Wallace, who played football and basketball for the Rams and was an assistant football 32 years. Former TV9 Athlete of the Week Matt Ditch and Kelly Dodd will be joining Jim in the Hall of Fame Saturday. One of the stars for the Hawkeyes in the first half of the season has been cornerback Desmond King, who came up with that big pick 6 against the Hoosiers. King is a shutdown corner that every team would love to have and can make big plays like that interception return. Coach Parker, by the way, helped tip him off that the play was coming his way. College volleyball last night, 15th-ranked Illinois beat Iowa at Carver Hawkeye 3-2. The Illini won the 5th and deciding set, 15-11. I'm KCRG TV9 Scott Sable, and now you're up to date with sports on KXIC.
Welcome back. It's the Pawsitivily Petland Show, AM800, KXIC. I'm Jay Capron. It is 46 degrees. We have sunshine. It is a nice day, and we are having some fun talking pets. Got a call from a guy who's traveling across the country. Proof, once again, you just never know who's tuned in. And it was really cool because the Weimaraner is the breed of the week. He's traveling with his Weim, High Five, and Jack and High Five have gone across the country the past 2 months. He's heading back to California, was traveling through, tuned into 800, heard us talking about Weimaraners, and gave us a call. If you have a Weimaraner, call us and get your free bag of treats or free bag of dog food, 319-354-0800, 319-354-0800. You get a free bag of treats and a free bag of dog food if you call up and tell us about your Weim. We just need the name of your Weim and just tell us a little bit about your Weimaraner, and we'll get you set up with that free bag of treats and a free bag of dog food known as the Gray Ghost. We're going to learn more about that breed in particular in just a minute. But first, I thought I'd play this. This is pretty funny. If you haven't seen it, it's the Ultimate Dog Tease. Maybe you have seen it because it has 161 million views. It's what they did is they put this video together with this dog who's looking at the camera, and they put voices in. And Ron, you said you posted this on your Facebook page too,
right? Wendy and I were cackling.
It is pretty funny. Some of it'll translate to radio. It'll be better if you could take a look at this yourself, but it's up on our Facebook page. Take a listen right now. The Ultimate Dog Tease.
Food. I just couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I went to the fridge and I opened up the meat drawer. You know what the meat drawer is, right?
Yeah. What was in there?
Well, I'll tell you what was in there. You know that bacon that's like maple? It's got maple flavor.
The maple kind, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I took that out.
His mouth goes right with the words.
Yeah.
Too.
I know who would like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Me. So I ate it.
Oh.
He opens his mouth and turns away. This is good stuff. You can check it out at KXIC's Facebook page. And there's a lot of these videos that have come out. Good stuff there. Fun with our pets. 319-354-0800. Let's learn about the Weimaraner. Tell us about the breed.
Weimaraner does originate from Germany, and it does sound like the Weimaraner used to be a larger dog than what it is today. Did you know, so we hear about a lot of the dogs that are hunting dogs. Can you guess, Jay, what was this dog hunting back then? It was a bigger dog.
It wouldn't be anything. Well, how long ago was this?
It doesn't really say.
I was gonna say because I know I
didn't get a year on it.
They hunt like birds and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's what they've been turned into because of they used to hunt bear.
What?
Wolves
Wow.
and bears, and so this was it was designed to do that. It is a descendant of a lot of different German breeds. The bloodhound is most likely in there as well. And so it was definitely, a larger breed hunting. I just was shocked on hunt bear aspect of the Weimaraner.
I had no idea.
And so the Americanized Weimaraner is now more of a game hunter for birds and things like that. And what I'm understanding is, and if you could say more about this, I hear that it has a lot of endurance. It will go endurance wise. However, it's inactive or it's less active as a pet indoors, it says.
Okay, and I would agree with that. That was one of the things a couple things about my Weimaraner. His name was Slater. When we got him, he was very, very skinny. He was in a home that had 2 Rottweilers. They fed him at the same time. The Rottweilers would basically push him out of the way, and he got whatever was left. So he was very skinny when we got him. So his personality was different than a lot of people we had talked to. We talked to other Weim owners that said, oh, he's got to be running around like crazy, right? He's got all that energy. And he didn't. He was lazy. And I think that's another example of dogs that you just each personality is a little bit different. You hear about Weimar, it's got to be running all over. And he did like to run when he'd get out and run, but he just wasn't that energy. Like when you come home, he's just off the wall, energy, which you hear about with Weims in particular and some other breeds. He wasn't like that. And so he was more of a lower key dog. he was funny in a way that this is the story I was going to tell, is that I took him on walks all the time, and he just liked to get out and get outside, and I like to as well. So we'd take walks, and there was one time on the other side of the street, there was this little yippy dog, like a Yorkie or something like that, started barking at him, right? And we're on the other side of the street. This woman's walking this Yorkie, and I'm on the other side of the street. The dog starts barking at him. He looks up at me, and then he curls up behind my leg and like hides behind me. And I just started thinking, I'm like, come on, you wuss. I'm like, this little dog, you can eat that thing.
Yeah.
And he just kind of wimped out. And I'm like, and people were scared. He was bigger, about 75 pounds or so. So he's, decent sized dog. People used to be scared to come to the door, like the pizza man, some other people, because he looked bigger, and he would bark, people would come to the door or whatever, but he wasn't he was a big wimp, as that story just proves. Right. So yeah, good hunters is what I've heard. Very lovable dog. He was great with other animals, and very, very family oriented. That's what we see over and over again. The average size 23 to 27 inches tall at the shoulder. So this is not like this isn't in that giant breed dog, although I have seen some very large Weimaraners. So on average, then they would be more in that. It would be a large breed dog. And so if that's something that you're looking for, the Weimaraner is an awesome choice. I just had a Weimaraner in our store. I brought it in yesterday. For how long?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. I guess that proves that there's a want out there for this breed.
Yeah, we brought it in, and before I literally kind of turned around and they said, "Oh, the Weimaraner's going home now."
And Weimaraner pups are just ridiculously cute.
Yeah,
too.
they are.
I mean,
cute.
they have that look on their face, that cute puppy look. They have that amazing color, which is what I think drew us to our Weim when we had him. Just that grayish, beautiful look, and they, especially. You could tell when there's a nice, healthy looking Weim. You can see their muscles, their muscle tone, and their healthy skin, and they just have that really cool look to them. So I like the Weim.
So overall, the Weimaraner, it is a shedding breed, but it's a very short hair. So you will see some of that around your house, but it's not going to be long hairs or anything like that. You use the Furminator, like we always say, and that's going to help you out in that way. It does require exercise, daily extended, vigorous exercise to get all that energy out. However, AKC even says, hey, the apartment is okay for this dog. Now, that's just, I was like, wow, I didn't expect to read that one. But it's because of the low activity indoors. Grooming is easy, average shedding, and it's about the extent of that little dog. And we can talk about and dovetail right into the anxiety of dogs.
Sure.
and how
he didn't like loud noises. He didn't like fireworks, and that was one thing I thought was interesting too, because if you're a hunting dog, you got to get them past that to be gun shy. If they're gun shy, then you got an issue when you're trying to hunt with them. But fireworks really bothered him. Lightning, thunder, for when we'd have thunderstorms, that bothered him, and he'd get that anxious feeling. So what can you tell us about anxious dogs?
So anxiety can come from a lot of different areas, but what we can do for most every dog is just work with them on just natural ways that we would do the same thing on getting rid of anxiety. If you anticipated anxiety in your life, Jay, what and you had some time to kind of prep for it, what would you do? You're a guy, you're going to do something, something physical, right? You're going to maybe, if I've done it where I know I got something, big thing coming up, I'll go do a little exercise or whatever, get some of that energy out, bring it down a notch. Exactly what we want to do for our dogs. If we anticipate this, let's run around with our dogs and take them outside, throw the ball around. If you got company coming in, take them outside, just wear those dogs out, so that by the time your company comes, they're tired. They're like, I don't have time to do any of this. I'm tired. I'm going to go take a nap now. So that's a first step, great way of doing it. Even for our older dogs out there, this is something you can do on a smaller scale. My little Callie, who's over 10 years old, I forget, somewhere in that 12-year range, I enjoy immensely chasing her around the house. I think it's so funny because she'll like, it's almost like you can tell, oh no, what's he doing? Oh no, oh, he's chasing me. Oh my gosh. And so we're running around. And my thing is it's great exercise for her. She does lay around 95% of the time she's sitting on a pillow and just looking at you. You know, she doesn't even want to get up. And so when I catch her walking around and she just, I know when she looks up and she sees the twinkle in my eye, like, I'm going to get you.
I'm gonna get you.
She's like, oh no,
Yeah.
oh no. And then, so we do a real brief run around the house. She seems to enjoy it because she'll dodge back and forth. When she's done, she lets me know right away. What does she do? She stops on a dime, sits down.
We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
It's been fun.
And I can't do anything to rouse her back up. And I go, okay, well, you've had your fill. Our other dog, I'll run around a lot more with her, but she too, for her, it's like 20 minutes into it. And I'm like running around. And this is all in the house. Well, all of a sudden she starts hiding and going to places and like just, you know, or up on a sofa or something and lays down. And so, okay, you know, you're all good there. So all these things are good to get those tensions and anxieties out. It's a lot of that is pent up, you know, adrenaline and all that. I need to do something with all this energy type thing. And that's a way to do it. So if you have problems when the kids come home and their dogs are all hyper, or when you get home and the dogs are all hyper, bring them out back. We let them out right away. Especially in the warmer weather, we're running around out there. I am running around out there and chasing them and getting them, you know, getting that energy blown out so that that anxiety is not there. They're not all that hyperactive dog in front of you, displaying all types of different behaviors that we all are aware of for our own individual dogs. The next thing that I would recommend is really strong and good chews for your dog. Now, every dog chews differently. My dogs, neither one of them will chew anything up. You can give them a plush toy where some dogs will annihilate that thing within minutes. Mine, a year later, it looks almost brand new, but they will chew over and over and over. They love squeakers, so they'll squeak, squeak, squeak on those kind of things. That's a great way for the dog to let that energy out in a different way. They do tend to have a stronger oral fixation and where they're doing a lot more chewing than even we do. Here, some of us love that gum stuff. Whenever I chew gum, my jaws get so tired. And after I chew the gum, I go, wow, it tastes really good. But holy cow, my jaw hurts. So I don't chew gum anymore. I don't know what happened there.
Dogs love working out those jaws.
Yeah, but they just keep going and going and going. So find the different chews. You know, something that we have in our store, we just brought in, we were at all those trade shows over the summer.
Chirpy Chew?
Chirpy Chew is always one of my favorite because it's like, it looks like it's a dessert. It's hardened yak cheese.
I remember the Chirpy Chew.
Oh, and those things, they just go crazy over them. Some one of my dogs licks it to death, but just is there for 3 hours, and the other one just is kind of lightly chewing chung, 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 on the thing.
Chung, how is that? Chung, chung, chung,
chung. We've got water buffalo horns now.
Buffalo horns.
We found that, and they are amazing. If you've not done the deer antler or the elk antler, those are now getting pretty popular. We got plenty of those. Those things fly off the shelf.
Yeah.
Here's another thing you can try: the water buffalo horn. All of these, when I talk about these antlers and horns, they're all naturally fallen. Nobody's out there hacking.
That's good to point out, because
things off.
people may get the idea that they're going out there to chop their horns off for selling them to the store.
Right.
So that is good to know.
Right. They're all naturally fallen. We make sure of that.
No elephant tusks or anything.
No. Yeah. That'd be a whole nother story there. These water buffalo horns are a little cheaper as far as the elk and the deer antlers go. So that's a nice aspect of it. And they have the same qualities. They're hard, so they last longer. I was reading something that a horn or a water buffalo horn is 98% protein. I went, are you kidding me?
That is interesting.
I had no idea. And they said, and 0.43% fat. So it's low in fat. Yeah, they were trying to point out it was a low fat product.
That's a new diet, a new craze.
Yeah,
for people.
It's just very difficult to get it. And I'm not sure these things are digestible. I think that's the biggest thing. So the water buffalo horn is a really cool product for your dog to do. We just brought them in. We got a ton of them in our store. We put them, when you walk in, you will see how we put them. Your dog will notice them right away. They're right in the main aisleway. And so we did that intentionally so that you would see that your dog would be attracted to these things. They're in all different sizes. So there's the really big, buffalo horn, but then they've cut them into smaller segments. So all the way to a smaller dog, you can have this. Now, if your dog is not a really strong chewer and you want something that's nutritious, another thing that we got from the same company are these fish, what'd you call it, skins or something to that nature. So there's a little bit of meat on them, but it's mainly dried fish skins. And so you can buy them where it looks, it's just the fillet of the fish. You can look at it and you go, that's a fish. But then they have other ones that are rolled and dried and are a little barbecued looking or something. And so they're not as quite looking and all that kind of stuff. So chewing is a big thing to bring the anxiety in your dogs down. Those two things, if we address those two with our dogs, we'll go so much further than having to medicate, or do all these different things. So always when people come in and say, what do you have to calm a dog down? I go, well, let's start with the basics here first. Good nutrition, exercise, a lot of that appropriate for your dog, and then chews. Let's go those routes first, and then let's start talking about all the different calming aids and things like that we have on the shelves.
Okay, good deal. That's Ron Salzer of Petland of Iowa City. Last call for any Weimaraner owners, 319-354-0800, 319-354-0800. That's the phone number to call. It's the Pawsitivily Petland Show on AM800 KXIC. We've been talking about the Weimaraner. You just heard about some tips on anxious dogs. We also shared with you that African Gray that went missing for 4 years came back speaking Spanish. Great story there for the amazing pet story of the week. Also played the Ultimate Dog Tease video that's been seeing all kinds of attention online. All those different things here.
You can see that. That is worth looking up. You can go to both Facebooks for KXIC right now, I think, and then also Petland, Iowa City.
Absolutely,
we posted it there as well. That's a good one.
Thanks to Jack and High Five. That was a cool story earlier.
I love that.
Yeah, this morning he's passing through, been traveling around for about 2 months, tuned into KXIC, and told us about his Weim, High Five. Good friends there. Weimaraner, the breed of the week. This has been the Pawsitively Petland Show. Ron, anything else about your store?
Hey, we got that buy 10, get 1 free on most of our dog foods. We've got the $5 nail trim, and come in and play. It is just an unbelievably fun store where it's all interactive. We're doing education with you, and you're just having fun. So come on in and play.
We have John Bowler coming up with the Coralville Ecumenical Food Pantry. Stay tuned for that. They have a run going on next month, the food run. And you're going to hear about that top entry cat box, the litter box that is great for any of you that have a cat. Get rid of that side entry thing. That's what causes them to kick out all that litter all over your house. If you have the top entry box, they go in there and kick all they want, like Lucy and Zoe do, and it doesn't go outside the box. It is so easy and simple. It is ugly, but hey, it's a cat's box. It doesn't need to be beautiful. Go check it out. It's at Petland of Iowa City. Top entry cat's box, plus you get Power Mix, and they'll smell nice around your house as well. So the top entry cats box available at Petland of Iowa City. We'll hear more about that right now.
Programming this hour on KXIC, presented by Petland of Iowa City, next to Sycamore Mall.
Do you have a furry member of the family? No, not Uncle Joe. Do you have a cat or dog? Hi, I'm KXIC morning host Jay Capron, and I have a simple solution for you, and it worked for me. Devin, Jack, and I have 2 cats, Lucy and Zoe, and every day I found myself sweeping up the cat litter. Then Ron Solzberg told me about the top entry litter box at Petland, Iowa City. If you have a dog in your family that likes to get into that cat's box, they won't do it with the top entry box. So head to Petland of Iowa City, located on Lower Muscatine, and also ask about Power Mix. It's a fantastic cat litter that'll freshen up your home.
It's finally here. October is National Pork Month, so celebrate with savory pot roast or slow-cooked pork shoulder with spicy cranberry glaze. Enjoy the tastiest month ever and find